went over and talked to those guys. And went over to see how they were doing. He talks to Kenny Savage. So I see him in there every once in a while. And I told him my story, but I didn't make an ass out of myself. It's just one of those things. It is what it is. And what's the temperature out here now? It's dropping. $65. Nah, too early. Time 7 o'clock, 8:19. Man, I'm buzzing like a and the charge is 11%. Put it on the charger, it's ready. Just wanted to know what he was doing down there. And I dump this. I don't know, I didn't drink it all. Down it goes, down it goes, down it goes. Oh shit.
Coming up.
I'm willing to spend to feel that connection with the rest of the world.
Can you buy happiness? First, though, let's do the numbers. Yeah, we call this the sad happy music because read the room, gang. Dow Industrial's up 2,962 points today, 7 9/10%, 40,608. NASDAQ, 1,857 points to the good, 12 2/10%, 17,124. The S&P 500, 474 points, up 9.5%, 54 56 there. Goldman Sachs released a revised 90-day forecast after the president announced a 90-day pause on new tariffs, as we said. It has downgraded the probability of a recession. This is a downgrade, remember, to 45%. Gold prices are back up. Gold futures trading at about $3,100 a troy ounce. Bond prices fell. Yield on the 10-year T-note rose to 4.32%. Bonds overnight is a whole different thing, man, but the program's only half an hour. You're listening to Marketplace.
Marketplace is supported by the Financial Times, whose distinctive pink pages are dedicated to offering bold journalism and fearless thinking on American political and business news. There's more at ft.com. And by Viking, dedicated to bringing travelers closer to the destination. Viking offers a small ship experience with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com. And by Drexel University, an R1 research institution according to the Carnegie classification, affirming Drexel's dedication to experiences that positively impact society. More at drexel.edu.
Support comes from History Colorado, presenting Where is Denver's Chinatown? Stories remembered, reclaimed, reimagined. Exhibition on view now. Tickets at historycoloradocenter.org.
CPR provides many ways for businesses and organizations to reach Coloradans, including CPR.org, Denver Right, The Lookout, streaming, and podcasts. CPR is here to help you build your business. Learn more on the support page at CPR.org.
This is Marketplace. I'm Kai Rosdahl. Depending on which administration official you listen to, the Trump tariffs are either supposed to raise revenue or protect American industries and reshore jobs. Setting aside for the moment that those are mutually exclusive goals, the truth of it is that ultimately some things might be reshored and others might not, but there is going to be a price to pay either way. Marketplace's Supreme Benishore has that one.
Benzene is a clear liquid made mostly out of carbon. Each molecule is like a little ring.
This is a building block chemical.
Al Greenwood is deputy news editor for ICIS, a market intelligence firm for the chemicals industry.
It's used to make plastics used for picnic, dinnerware, plastic plates, engineering plastics used in automobiles, washing machines.
The U.S. is a plastics powerhouse. It's the largest exporter of polyethylene plastic in the world.
The U.S. consumes more benzene than it produces.
So it imports some from South Korea, which this morning had a 25% tariff on it. Now that's temporarily down to 10%. But if one goal of these moving tariffs is to reshore U.S. production, Greenwood says that's not going to happen with benzene because of how it's made.
Benzene is a byproduct of refineries mostly, and nobody is going to expand a refinery just to make more benzene.
You don't build a chick hatchery just to get more eggshells. So if you want more, you import it. Now with potentially higher tariffs.
Companies that buy this benzene, they're going to have to eat the cost.
So tariffs aren't likely to bring new benzene jobs. They're just a new cost. The Tax Foundation estimates Liberation Day tariffs would cost U.S. consumers $1,500 per household this year. And there are other products that, like benzene, we're going to pay more for, but that are just probably not going to move here.
We do not expect that industries will reshore if the labor calculation and the capital outlay at the beginning does not make sense.
Erin McLaughlin is a senior economist at the Conference Board.
Sneakers, textiles, things that don't require advanced or smart manufacturing, but are fairly labor intensive and are fairly low dollar.
What could come back? Or otherwise put, what jobs would consumers be paying higher prices in order to bring back?
Light industry, such as semiconductors, so a lot of automation and high-tech manufacturing.
Christopher Tang is a professor at the UCLA Anderson School of Management. He says pharmaceuticals can come back too.
Because the footprint is not high, and also the physical labor content is also not high.
But unlike with benzene, there's a price we don't easily see. Using blanket tariffs to resurrect jobs in one industry can cost jobs in another. That's what happened last time.
Industries pulling back on hiring.
Katie Russ is a professor of economics at UC Davis. She crunched some numbers from when President Trump applied tariffs to steel and aluminum in his first administration.
Like if you squinted, you could see, maybe 1,000 new jobs in steel production, but there were about 75,000 fewer manufacturing jobs in firms where steel or aluminum were an input into production.
The Tax Foundation estimates the original Liberation Day tariffs would have cost the economy the equivalent of 605,000 jobs. In New York, I'm Sabri Benishore for Marketplace.
Whatever happens with tariff and trade policy, and if today teaches us anything, it's that anything can happen, good or bad. But whatever does wind up happening, consumers are going to be on the receiving end of it. Higher prices, slower growth, all those changes trickle down. But at the same time, you kind of run this economy. Regular listeners have heard me say it, 70% of gross domestic product is spending by or on behalf of consumers. So today we're launching a new series called Lived Economies. Marketplace's Kristen Schwab is going to be following a group of consumers, people, right, to get a better sense of how they see this economy and how they're going to navigate it as it changes. Here's our first story.
When I think back on all the time I've spent reporting on how people feel about the economy, I often replay this one piece of tape in my head. It's from a story I did a couple years ago talking to consumers about the pandemic. And frankly, it's a little dark. Here's that story.
So many people lost loved ones during that pandemic, and they were saving money and they had plans and they didn't get to do those things.
The fact that we're getting closer to death every day, whether we like it or not, what am I saving for?
I want to feel as little isolated as possible, and I'm willing to spend to feel that connection with the rest of the world.
These are not fun memories, but sometimes it feels like we've filed those pandemic years away. We've forgotten how they turned our world and our economy upside down.